All right, so this is lesson 2 on our income unit. And this lesson is a lot, like very, very real life applicable. Some of the stuff is quite straightforward. And some of the things get like a little, well, not a lot more complicated, but a little bit. But this is all stuff that I think you will have a hard time saying, when am I going to use this in my real life? Okay, I dare you. So, Marcus works as an electrician and earns $24.68 an hour. If it takes him 15 hours for one job, okay, for one job, how much will he earn? Okay, so he's making this much every single hour, and he works 15 hours. So this is exactly what you would probably expect, right? $24.68 times 15 hours, and that will tell you how much you made. So in this case, it is 370.2, which would be 20 cents. So that's how much you made in 15 hours, okay, for one job. So there's a couple practice questions that are all just that. Okay, this is how much they make an hour. This is how many hours they worked. How much will they make? Then we get down to this one. We're kind of going backwards. It says last week Chi worked 34 hours cutting lawns. His gross income, okay, that means like how much money did he make total without any deductions. So if it's saying gross, that means like you made, let's say, like this $392, but that's not counting any taxes or any like expenses or anything like that that's coming off. Okay, so that's like technically he made that much money, even though there's going to be stuff that comes out of that. Okay, so he made $392.12, and it took 34 hours. So what was his hourly wage? Okay, so this is, we're saying, this is how much money he made in 34 hours. And so we just need to divide by the number of hours to find out how much he made in 1 hour. So we're going to take that and divide it by 34. And you put that into your calculator, and you will get $11.53. $11.53. Okay, so not the best paying job these days, but it's not nothing either. Okay, this one, next one is exact same idea, except instead of talking about like hours and they worked in a week, this is talking about like how much they made in a year. So last year, Liliana earned $45,183.36 working in a Grand Prairie hair salon. What was her average monthly income? And then it says weekly income. So if this is how much she made in a year, $45,183.36. So in 1 year, that's how much she made. How much did she make in every month? So we're going to divide it then by the number of months in a year. Okay, so we'll divide this by 12 to find out how much she made per month. And that would end up being $3,765.28. Okay, so she made a little less than $4,000 every month. It says, how much did she make every week then? So the easiest way I think to do this then would be to say, if this is how much she made in a year, divide that same number that we started with, but by the number of weeks in a year. Okay, so we're going to take exact same number and now divide it by the number of weeks. So we're dividing this by 52 weeks in a year and getting $868.91. So this is how much money per month right here, and this is how much money per week. All right, and then these next questions are all variations on that same idea. Okay, now it brings us to the ones that have a little extra layer. It's not bad, but you do have to make sure you do it right. And we add in overtime and shift premiums. Okay, so overtime is when you're getting extra pay for working like extra hours. Okay, so this is like when you go above and beyond your normal work week. Often over like 40 hours a week is when you start making overtime. Depends on your specific job. Or sometimes it might be, if you work more than 8 hours in a shift or 10 or 12 hours in a shift, then you start making overtime. Different jobs do different things, but basically you're going to start getting extra money if you are working kind of beyond what is normally, a typical shift. A shift premium is very, very similar, but this is working like extra pay for different hours. Okay, so it'd be like if you are working on a holiday, you might get extra pay for that, or if you have to work at a certain time of night, sometimes like a night shift might get a little bit, an extra 50 cents or $1 an hour or something like that for working on the night shift, things like that. But they're both the exact, they're very similar idea. You're just getting extra money for working at different times. Okay, so then how do we calculate this? So this example says that Marcel works for a construction company and he earns $15.82 an hour for a 37.5-hour work week. Okay, so this is what he's normally getting paid for this amount of hours each week. And he is paid time and a half for any time that he works in excess of 37.5 hours. So if he starts working beyond this, like so in excess meaning like if he starts working, okay, now you've worked 38 hours and 39 and 40 or whatever. After that point, now you're going to start getting paid time and a half. Okay, with that means like your normal wage times 1.5. Okay, so you're getting like 50% extra pay. So it says if he works 42.5 hours during 1 week, how much will he earn? So we're going to do this question in 2 parts. Okay, the first part is how much does he work for his normal hourly wage, and then how many hours does he work for his overtime? Okay, so the first part we'd say he works 37.5 hours, and for each of those hours he's making $15.82. Okay, so this is his like normal pay. Okay, this is like normal week, normal pay. He works on top of that, he works then an extra 5 hours. Okay, so be saying like how many hours over this? Okay, I just did that mentally, but like if the numbers are a little bit more tricky, you'd say like how many hours were there, and then subtract off the normal hours, 37.5, and you're left with 5 hours is how many he worked in excess. Okay, so 5 hours working at time and a half. So that means we're going to say like 5 hours times his normal wage, but also times 1.5. Okay, so like this part here, this is taking his normal wage and giving him an extra 50%. He's timing it by 1.5. So why don't we just see what that part is first, and then we'll times it by the number of hours. So 15.82 times 1.5 would give us 23.75. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite this down here as 5 hours times, this is his overtime pay, which he said is $23.73. And that would be $118.65 for this part. So this is his overtime pay, and then here we have his normal pay, 37.5 times 15.82 is 593.25. Okay, so this and this together, that is going to be his total that he earns if we add those two. All right, so once we've added those together, we get a final answer then of $711.90 is how much you earned that week. Okay, so overtime really adds up quick. Yeah, if there's a lot of people who will, if they have an opportunity to work overtime, they will always work overtime. It depends on kind of your lifestyle and the work that you do, but yeah, taking an overtime shift can be very worth your while for sure. So for these last questions, that it's all going to be similar stuff to that. Okay, you'll have to calculate how much are they making for how many hours do they work at their normal rate, and then how many hours do they work at their like kind of bonus rate, their overtime rate, where they're getting like 1.5 times their hours or whatever it is. In the next question, it says double time for their hours, so they're going to be making like double the amount. So, and then this one here, this one says double time and a half. Okay, so that is times 2.5. Yeah, but anytime you're getting paid like $1 amount for these hours and another dollar amount for another one, just split it up into half, or like split it into two parts, where you calculate your first part, calculate your overtime pay, and then add them together. Otherwise, good luck.